Hi, this is Pastor Tim Hale. You may want to consider this. Not long ago was Father's Day, and I was pondering about an example of fatherhood that I got in the Bible that might not be the one that you would ordinarily think of. In the book of Genesis, a very famous father, Abraham, was asked to sacrifice his only son, Isaac. And now they went up to the mountain, and according to the scripture, they had not as of yet disclosed to Isaac the plan. I've often said that I would like to be a frog on a log up there and heard the conversation when Abraham told Isaac what was to happen. Because you see, most scholars agree that at the time this happened, Isaac was probably 37 years old, Abraham was 137. Now that becomes important when you have to consider that there was no way that Abraham was going to enforce this or overpower his son. So I would love to have heard that conversation when Abraham told him the plan. The reason this is a great example of fatherhood is because the very fact of their ages would suggest to us that Isaac had to submit for this to work. And though I would like to have heard the conversation on the mountain, it occurred to me that it was the conversations that had happened the previous 37 years in Isaac's life that led to this submission. What kind of father must Abraham have been? What kind of conversations had to have taken place for his son to look at his dad and say, "Dad, if this is what God requires, this is what we'll do," and to willingly submit. Give us the kind of fathers that are past perhaps the season where we have authority in our children's lives, as Abraham was, but we still have influence in our children's lives because of the example we have set and the words we have spoken. To the point where when we approach our children, it's not that we are approaching them to say, "You have to die," but what happens if we approach our grown children and say, "I see this working in you and it's harmful, and that thing inside of you has to die." And because of our conversations and example, they look at us and say, "Okay, be the good father. It's never too late."